Hey, Vikings Nation, it's your host, Mike, bringing you this episode. This week, it's week 4, and we're going up against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field on grass, not turf. Not that it matters. It's going to be an exciting game, back and forth. It's always a good game, divisional rivalry, we know all that. But before we get into that, I want to read you a quote that I came across, and I feel it really applies to this team and what has happened to this team and what got us to this point this year with this team. And it says, when chaos happens, creativity can come of it. And I feel like last year was such a bad year, and in a sense that we were a better team, but we had so many injuries. Brian Flores was in his first year. We lost Kirk Cousins. We lost Justin Jefferson. We lost TJ Hawkinson for the season. Jefferson came back there at the end, but we sustained so many injuries. We didn't develop really a running game. Madison didn't work out. Brian Flores, his first year, we just didn't have those pieces in place. So our defense kind of was gimmicky, where we were strong one week and bad the next week. We played the Raiders. Our offense scores 3 points one week and our defense holds them scoreless. But then the next, after that, our defense just kept giving up runs after runs and big plays after big plays, and we couldn't handle it. And then our special teams was just bad. Punting wasn't good. The kicking, you're holding your breath every time Greg Joseph's kicking a ball, and he was probably better than most of them we've had in recent years. We still wasn't what we needed. Well, from that chaos, we roll over to this year, the creativity. Here KOC is without, again, TJ Hawkinson, lost Jordan Addison early. No Kirk Cousins, got Sam Darnold. Moved off Alexander Madison, picked up Aaron Jones. And this offense is revigorated. The offensive line is phenomenal this year. They looked themselves in the mirror and made those changes. Brian Flores brought in players he needed. And I'll get further into that here in a second, about how he's developed his new scheme and his looks and why he's done that. But let's talk about the special teams too. They brought in Will Reichard. He's played really good. I trust Will Reichard as our kicker. I really do. Superstitious a little though. But back to the defense and Brian Flores. And in the offseason, and it's already came out the last week or this week, that Brian Flores wanted to create a scheme that would match, or a defense that would match and be able to defeat the West Coast offense, or stand up to it. Stand up to the West Coast offense was his words. And he's done it. We've already faced several West Coast offenses so far, and we're holding them to task. So kudos to B-Flow. His scheme's crazy. He's running a lot of cover zeros and cover ones, which essentially looks like all-out blitzes, or sending 4. And in the end, after the pre-snap, when it's hiked, it looks like the House of Mirrors, like at the state fair when you'd go. Quarterbacks are looking and saying, well, where all these guys come from? Safeties are dropping back to cornerback positions. Cornerbacks are dropped into safety positions. They're intertwining. It's really amazing to see what B-Flow is doing. And I'm excited, for this team. But from that creativity, you needed these players to play these roles. You can write out the script however you want it, and you can compose it however you want it. But if you don't have the proper players in place, it'll never work. And we're seeing it from this year. Okay, now to the Packers. Brian Flores needs to turn Jordan Love into a pumpkin this week, an absolute pumpkin. We need to minimize Josh Jacobs and force this game on Jordan Love's arm. He's coming off an injury. He's been out for the last few weeks. He's practiced the last 2 days. He's going to be a go. But he's only had that week 1, and now he's really starting week 1 again after he's had these 2 weeks off. So we need to turn Jordan Love into the pumpkin we turned C.J. Stroud into last week. And by doing so, we've got to minimize Josh Jacobs. When the Packers have been able to run the ball on us, we generally do not fare well at all. However, since 2015, maybe 2016, we have faced the Packers enough times where we have went 9-8-1. So we have the formula to beat the Green Bay Packers. We really do. But again, we're going to have to minimize that running game, and Jaden Reed is their number one. They can say they've got X number of number ones. Jaden Reed's their number one. He's been their number one all year, and by far he's their best wide receiver option that they have. Matt LaFleur needs to be commended. As much as it pains me to say this, he was dealt a similar situation we were. However, it wasn't season ending, but he lost Jordan Love the first 2 weeks and got Malik Willis, who many had said was a bust, and Malik Willis came in and won those 2 games. So you have to give Matt LaFleur the respect he deserves, because he took basically what was impossible and made it possible. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get to KOC. KOC is getting it done. His creativity is still getting it done, minus TJ Hawkinson, minus Jordan Addison. It looks like we're getting Jordan Addison back for this game against the Packers on Sunday. So that's encouraging. We'll get into the injury report here in a second. Let's talk about Sam Darnold. He's getting it done too. He's playing high-profile QB play. His QB play has been great all year. However, he's on the road against a divisional rival on the grass. The game is not as fast. It slows down. It's going to be loud. He's going to be outside of his comfort zone. He needs to embrace this pressure, understand this pressure. He needs to play smart football. We do not need him to put it on his shoulders and win this game. And by doing so, we need to steady the run. The run is going to help develop the passing game. We have to stick with the running game. We have to continue to run the ball. Every week I'm going to continue to say that. Running this football helps the West Coast offense. They talk about the West Coast offense. And the West Coast offense, basically in layman's terms, is you just play what the defense gives you. You don't really make too many adjustments unless it's like an all-out blitz or something like that. Then you can change it up to the run. But you allow the defense to line up how they're going to line up, and you just go through your reads 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you just see how it plays out. Where like the run and gun, they'll kind of get up to the line and they'll start making their calls, and they'll change those adjustments to fit what they think the defense is going to do. So we have to continue to establish that run game. Let's get into the injury report. People have not practiced was Jonathan Bullard. He's dealing with a knee injury. Christian Darrisaw has got an illness. I expect both of them hopefully to go. More so Darrisaw. We need to keep an eye out on Bullard, see what the injury report says tomorrow. Ivan Pace is still not practicing with that ankle, so this might be like a Jordan Addison thing where he's going to be out a couple, maybe even a few weeks. So we need to keep an eye on that. Gruger Hill will step back in that position. I thought he did a pretty decent job. Of course, he can always play better. And then Jay Ward, he didn't practice this week, or he has yet to practice this week with a knee injury. Full participant, Dallas Turner, Sam Darnold, Jordan Addison's been limited. So that's encouraging on that side. Like I said, Jordan Love's been a full participant the last 2 days. I expect him to be a full go. Doesn't matter. Vikings win this one, 23-21. Vegas says we're 2.5-point underdogs. Imagine that. I disagree. We're a 2-point favorite. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, Mike out.